From Creamer Media in Johannesburg, this is the Real Economy Report, a joint project between the National Laser Centre of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research and local private sector aerospace company Aerosud saw the recent acquisition of a new laser system and the opening of a new advanced manufacturing centre. Keith Campbell reports.
The joint programme is called Aeroswift and is aimed at locally developing a high-speed, large-volume, laser-based additive manufacturing system to make titanium parts for the global aerospace industry. Already, the proof-of-concept trials have demonstrated processing speeds 8.3 times faster than currently available commercial selective laser melting machines. Deputy Trade and Industry Minister Derek Hanekom, who officially inaugurated both the laser system and the Advanced Manufacturing Centre, explains the significance of these developments for the country.
But essentially the context is that we have to enhance our own country's competitiveness. We have to use the best of our scientific know-how and our capabilities to get into these cutting-edge technologies, to enter competitively into these niche markets. And this is an example of, it's not the first time that we're here, obviously, an example of a steady advance, because that's the only way you retain competitiveness and grow your market in the economy. So it's not like this is an untested research project. There's very important research and development and innovation work going on, but this is a tested company with orders from Airbus and Boeing. What we're looking at is substantial increases in these orders, the advances in terms of the size of the components that can be manufactured using this additive manufacturing technique and using the newly imported technologies, bought technologies if you like. The important thing here is the capability, the proven capability both at the National Laser Centre and at Aerosud. And so this is not a shrinking market we're addressing, this is a growing market, the aviation market or the aerospace market. And but they need just the right product, and they need the right product at the right time. So we've got to be able to respond to their market needs, and we think with these technologies and capabilities, we are going to have the competitive edge, if you like, in this growing market.
Group Managing Director of Aerosud, Dr. Paul Potgieter, explains the importance of these developments for his company.
Well, I think our participation in the global aerospace industry by way, for example, parts manufacture for the OEMs will continue to be important to us. It's an important part of our business portfolio, so-called make-to-print amongst others. But if we are really going to secure sustainability for the longer term, we've got to be developing certain niches of technology where we can outrun the competition, really be good at it, and earn a long-term sustainable future. In the first instance, we do indeed have a technological breakthrough that can give us a speed and size edge, and a very substantial one over the competition. But in the second instance, this process is coupled at the same time, close coupled to other initiatives in South Africa, such as the titanium beneficiation program of the SA government, because we have strategic resources of titanium in South Africa, which means that if we link these two programs together, where in the one program looks at raw material creation, the other program, ours, for example, looks at beneficiation by adding value and selling parts on at a higher added value level. This is exactly the sort of winning recipe that we need to strive for.
Other news making headlines this week: South African engineers apply for services to be designated for local procurement. South Africa pins its reindustrialization hopes on new procurement rules, and the 2012 budget needs to underpin business confidence. Consulting Engineers South Africa has made an application to the Department of Trade and Industry for engineering consulting services to be given designated status under government's preferential procurement rules.
So let's just start off with the Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act and the regulations that came out on the 7th of December. The state-owned enterprises such as Eskom, such as AXA, such as Transnet, they have been exempted, in fact by special notice by the Minister on the 7th of December as well, when these regulations have to be approved. And it exempts them from complying with the regulations as it stands. The one issue that we have, for example, is that it's taken 6 or 7 years for us to get the scorecards right.
South Africa's revised Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act rules are a step in the right direction in the country's efforts to revive its flagging manufacturing sector. But it will need to be tied to a number of other strategies, as it will be inadequate on its own to ensure reindustrialization, says Manufacturing Circle chairperson Stuart Jennings.
Look, I think it is positive. It's a start, a tentative start at that, because they've only approved a few parts, but it is something we absolutely support. It's vitally important for South Africa to encourage manufacturing, nurture manufacturing, because it's the major area where we can create much needed jobs. So I think it's very important. The aspect for me, though, it even more important is that the private sector should support this wholeheartedly.
With limited room left in monetary and fiscal policy, South Africa needs to focus on structural factors to promote growth and employment and strengthen investor confidence, says Business Unity South Africa Deputy CEO Raymond Parsons.
As we talk about the global crisis, its threats and its opportunities, we then ask ourselves, well, as far as the opportunities are concerned, and there are opportunities, how competitive are we? We still have to be competitive. And we have been losing ground there. One of the biggest issues that comes through both from the Global Competitiveness Survey and from the recent Grant Thornton Survey is the extent to which the issue of red tape, bureaucratic obstacles has risen in the litany of obstacles, especially for small business.
That's Creamer Media's Real Economy Report. Join us again next week for more news and insight into South Africa's real economy.